and welcome to Smooth Winds Travel YouTube channel. I'm Shelly, owner, CEO, founder of Smooth Winds Travel. And today, along with myself and two of our great Smooth Winds Travel navigators, we are going to talk all things first time cruising. So those things that you need to know as a first time cruiser, or maybe you're an experienced ocean cruiser and you want to check out river cruising. Today is your day to join us as we share loads of tips, tricks, our first-hand insider knowledge, things for you to know to make that first cruise the best ever. So join us, grab you a coffee, get a tropical drink, and come join the fun. We're joined today with our travel navigators here at Smooth Winds Travel, Miss Kimberly and Brenda. Thanks for joining us, ladies. Today we are going to be talking about those first-time cruisers, and maybe you are a experienced ocean cruiser and you want to try river cruising for the first time, or vice versa, or you've never done either one. We are going to answer some of those questions you may have for us today. So first, Brenda, you want to tell us real quick, just a little quick, brief history, I guess, of overview of your life and travel.
Life and travel actually started with my grandparents, probably when I was one. They would take us on a family vacation every year. So I've been all over the country, seeing everything, Mexico, and then I lived in Germany for 4 years, and I've been traveling ever since.
Fun. Awesome. That's a great that to have those memories, and that's what we like to share too here at Smooth Winds with our clients. Those memories are such great things for children as you grow up. You always have those memories. So that's a wonderful things that they put that love for travel in for you. So Kimberly, tell us about you real quick.
Well, similar. I started traveling as a kid with my family and just loved it. So when I went to work after college, I took a job where it was consulting. I got to travel for work and got to see a lot of the US and Canada and loved it. And then, yeah, once I had kids and I've traveled so much, I was like, I want to do this and help other people with their travels because we spend a lot of time in Africa. Because we have family there, and in Europe because we have horses. So I have a lot of just random travel experience that I can share.
And that's what makes a lot of times booking with travel agents, travel advisors, we like to call our team navigators. They have y'all, we all have that firsthand experience that we can share with our clients, and that knowledge that we have. So, kind of getting into, our kind of topic for today, what are some things that, potential new cruisers should kind of think about, when they're starting to decide for cruising? Brenda, you want to kind of start us?
I think at least for first-time cruisers, one of the most important things is what are you trying to get out of this cruise? Is it more about the ports you're visiting? Do you want to relax? Is it about the activities on the ship? And then you can kind of narrow things down from there.
Yeah. Kind of going off that, Kim, what do you think, kind of going with that, choosing between maybe those mega ships on the ocean or those smaller ships, maybe coming to river cruises? What do you think are some of the things they should think about there too?
I think first you probably think about your personality and how you like to travel. If you're a person that likes a more small, intimate experience, a boutique hotel feel, river cruising is a good way to go. And then the big ships, I mean, obviously you have a lot more amenities, a lot more options, and there's a lot more people too. So it kind of is one of those things you have to weigh your where you want to go and what your options are. If you're wanting to do Central Europe, river cruising is fantastic. It's a good way to travel and you never have to unpack. Your hotel room floats down the river with you. It's wonderful.
Yeah, and what's kind of so fun about cruising in general. It's you pack one time and you see so many destinations. You don't have to repack, get on a train, go somewhere else, unpack, So that is something that's really great about cruising in general. Brenda, tell us kind of like what are those different cruise lines or things that you would take to in consideration when a new first timer came to you in deciding between the different cruise lines out there?
Sure. If you're looking for more family-oriented activities, maybe Royal Caribbean, Disney, um, even Norwegian has some ships that have a lot of fun-filled kids activities. If it's just couples and you're looking to kind of get away, relax, I would say maybe Virgin Voyages. If you, especially that's kids free, no children allowed on Virgin. If you're just looking for, a little bit of an older crowd with less kids and maybe more like Celebrity, Princess, those type of cruise lines. And then just for the solo people who want to do it just by themselves, Virgin has their own solo cabins. Some of the other cruise lines do have solo cabins, but they're very limited on the ships, maybe only 4 cabins per cruise line. So on the cruise ship. So those are how you would narrow down for different family options.
Yeah. Him kind of going on that kind of subject. What are some of the things people should think about in the different river cruising and cruise lines?
Well, it's similar. So if you're looking to just do as a couple and you're going on a trip, you have lots of options: Viking, Alma, Avalon, Uniworld. But if you're looking to travel with family or kids, Viking doesn't allow kids. So you want to look at Alma Waterways or Disney, which partners with Alma, and even Avalon. And the different excursions are kind of tailored differently. So Avalon is a very active lifestyle, lots of biking, where Viking's more walking, less biking. So it kind of you can kind of gauge it that way.
Yeah, and that's something that these are questions that we ask those first time clients, cruisers, when they come to us. We want to really make sure that we are listening to their wants, their desires, who's traveling with us and really creating that right package for them. So that's great. Um,
I was going to add one thing you asked about solo travelers. So, one thing to know is a lot of the river cruises are priced based on double occupancy. There are some situations on Ama Waterways has a few ships that have solo rooms, or they'll run a special. Like this summer, there's a special on the Burgundy cruise in France, and they actually are dropping the double occupancy. So a single traveler can book a room for the same price, without having to pay double to cover that other person. And Avalon also has some single rooms for solo travelers.
Yeah, that's like Virgin. They have a good amount of solo cabins. Now they are insider cabins or sea view cabins. Now, if you want a balcony, you will end up paying the double occupancy price if you want the balcony.
Yes.
Yeah, and that is very typical, and that is something that's good to know too when you are a solo travel, that a lot of times you still have to do that double occupancy kind of cost. So that is one thing to kind of think about when you're making that decision in there. So for some of those that maybe don't want to maybe go to a foreign country. They want to stay here in America. They maybe want to test something out. See, I'd love to suggest that Viking, and there is American Cruise Lines. They go up the Mississippi, Great Lakes, East Coast, especially if you're looking at those fall colors. Those are some things to maybe get you into cruising, but you don't have to go a long way. You're not going all the way to the Mexico, Caribbean, something like that. So that's a great option too for some first timers in there to think about. Brenda, I know these big ocean cruising cruise lines, they have lots of options for staterooms. Can you kind of give us the difference between all the different staterooms and what do you recommend, for certain locations?
Sure. Of course, we're going to start with our interior rooms, which are the least costly. And of course, if you're claustrophobic, I don't recommend them. There is no windows in them. So if you're just the type of person who doesn't care, you're just going to be in the room to sleep, perfectly fine. Next option would be your ocean view. Of course, it varies from ship to ship and different categories, but you can have something as small as this little itty bitty porthole to look out of to, a regular window view all the way from floor to ceiling windows. And of course, it's going to, depend on your category. Onto the balcony, which of course you're going to have your balcony. Some have tables and chairs. Um, have to be really careful when we pick these out because some can have obstructed views. So you always have to look at your deck plans, always have to know that, I want a full view, not the lifeboat in my face. Um, so for a balcony, definitely Alaska. If you're going to Alaska, highly recommend a balcony. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you don't want to miss because Alaska, gosh, you can see the whales right outside your window
Everything.
sometimes, or right off your balcony sometimes. It's so nice. And even kind of talking about that,
By the
Kim.
glaciers.
Oh, definitely waking up and seeing a glacier out your balcony. Yes, definitely. Um, Kim, do you think that matters as much on a river cruise?
Now, this is an interesting question because I would say you definitely want to research or talk to an experienced travel advisor because it's really dependent on each cruise. If you
Yeah.
were doing the Rhine River cruise, a lot of the cruising is at night, except for the one day that you do the beautiful through the hills and the castles. A lot of the cruising is at night. So your balcony, you're not really using it because you're out and about. So on that cruise, if you're worried about you want to save a little money, that's one you could do the standard room, and it does have a window, but it's kind of like a bathroom shower window. It's a nice porthole. You can see out. You do have daylight, but your room is smaller. But if you're doing Portugal, for instance, they don't allow night cruising. So all of the cruising is done during the day. And even Burgundy and Bordeaux, like a lot of the cruising is done during the day or partially during the day. You might do a morning tour and then in the afternoon you cruise. So those cruises, it's more important, or that's when you want to definitely spend the extra money and get the balcony because you'll be able to use it. If you're
Yeah.
cruising only at night you're docked, it's dark, and you may be docked next to another boat. So your
Yeah.
view is not fantastic.
And
So
that's kind of an important factor. Brenda, too, and you can explain too. Alaska, sometimes you need to know what side of the ship you're on too.
Right.
Makes a big difference. Sometimes you want to see the land, sometimes you don't want to, you want to look out into so you could see different things too. So sometimes that matters if you're going northbound or southbound, which side of the ship you want to be on something. And that's some of the things that we know and we can give you that best idea for. Kimda, I know this can be something for first timers, seasickness. So what are some of those things you recommend or would tell somebody that's worried about getting seasick?
Okay, as a person who gets a little bit of motion sickness, not necessarily boats, but rides, I highly recommend you either take, Dramamine or Bonine. You can get medication from your doctor. You can get a C band. But the best thing to do is when picking your cabin on the ship, try to always stay midship, lower decks.
Yeah,
Definitely. Yep. And then if you
definitely.
forget all the medications and whatnot, they do have medical doctors there that have stuff for that.
I love it. Kim, we know, occasionally a river can get flooded or a little rough. Probably not as much as an ocean getting crazy. Would river cruising be something that somebody needs to get worried about on getting seasick?
no, I don't think they're going to worry about getting seasick because rivers are shallow. Uh, it's a long sorry, it's a long flat bottom boat. So it doesn't experience the same sensation of seasickness because of the waves and the moving. When you're on a river cruise, it honestly feels very peaceful. You barely feel the motion. It's very smooth. And even if the river is flooded, they have some mechanisms to make the boat, come up and down to fit under bridges. But you never really have that rocking motion that you would have on the open sea.
Well, that's good to know. That's good. Um, River cruising. I know we're close to many ports pretty quickly. Um, I know ocean cruising. You could be a day or two at sea. But let's talk about when we get to those ports, some fun excursions, things to know about excursions. Brenda?
You can always look for excursions ahead of time. I always recommend booking them ahead of time until getting on the boat because some may be sold out that you really want. Um, I always recommend book through the cruise line. I know a lot of people try to do private, but if your private excursion does not get you back to the boat on time, they will not wait for you. You will be running down the gangplank there, and they're not
And
going to wait.
we'll see you on
If
TikTok being those cruise
that's right, you
runners.
will be on top for you too. So if you do book with the cruise line excursion and they are late getting back to the ship will wait for you.
Yeah. And that kind of, I want to add to that, that's why in cruising, for ocean cruising, we call them closed loop cruises. So they start maybe in Galveston, Texas, they go to the Caribbean, they come back to Galveston, Texas. You don't have to have a passport because they end and they start in the US. But we highly recommend a passport because what if that just happened and your excursion was late, you booked it third party, your cruise took off? How are you getting back to the US if you don't have a passport with you? So that's one of those really important things to note there too. So to add that on there. But Kim, anything special about river cruise excursions that we need to know about?
I think it's just so you know each line what you're getting. So with Viking, you get one excursion per day, and then you have the option of saving your money and just going off on your own and just walking around the city and just checking things out or booking another excursion. Uh, AMA Waterways is a slightly different. All the excursions are included. So you just pick which ones you want to do or not do. And same with Avalon.
Yeah.
So it kind of gives you the freedom, it's whichever way you go. They've organized the excursions and it sure makes life easy. They're wonderful. They do this for a living.
Yeah.
So I was really, when I went on a river cruise in Europe, I was just pleasantly surprised. I was like, I don't want to do this by myself. This was amazing. The
Yeah.
level of detail you give and the things you get to see and the castles you tour. It's amazing.
I love it. So, kind of, I know, like I kind of mentioned earlier, on a ocean cruise, especially, you could do a full day at sea. You're not stopping at a port. So, Brenda, what are some of the things that the cruise lines offer while you're at sea all day?
Yes, I would have to say it's going to depend on the cruise line actually, because each one is different with activities. Some have great children's activities, some don't. Some have movies, some don't. So it's just going to actually depend on the ship. Some have casinos, some don't. So lots of stuff to do, lots of food to eat, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
shows. Yep.
Some cruise lines have ice skating rinks, some have racetracks, some have laser tag, some have my favorite towel folding lessons to make those towel animals. I love making, I love learning to make those towel animals. And that's what fun too, kind of saying about that, you have great staff on ocean cruises, on river cruises. Tell us about Kim, and then we'll go to you, Brenda. What are the staff like on the cruises?
They are so well trained at customer service. It is just ultimate pampering, I think, on cruising. They are there to help you coordinate all your activities and make sure you get everything you need and want.
Brenda, tell us about ocean cruising and staff and service there.
The service and staff I encountered went above and beyond. Yes, I accidentally locked my bathroom door and I couldn't get in my bathroom. So They were right on it, got it open right away. They were fabulous. Even the restaurants, the staff were amazing. I have an allergy to red wine, so they went and found me a special organic red wine from one of the other restaurants on the ship and brought it just for me. Everybody just bent over backwards to help you. They really did. They were fabulous.
Yeah, and I love to a lot of the cruise lines, pretty much I should say every cruise line, you kind of have a room steward that is your steward the entire ship, there or the entire trip, I should say. They know you, they're always the ones that come into your rooms, they make your beds, they, all that. You kind of get a relationship. If you need anything, you go to them. I know some cruise lines, and especially probably river cruising too, they get to know you. They're kind of your same servers every night. They get to know you. They get to know your likes. I love the Disney Cruise Line. They rotate dining. So the staff, you're in a different restaurant every night, but that same staff goes with you. And by like three for sure, you come in, they know you maybe want a Dr. Pepper and your kid wants a chocolate milk and your husband wants a red wine. They know, and they're sitting right there on the
And
table
they'll
waiting for
remember
you.
it.
Yes, so that's what's really, they're great. Guys, wrapping it all up, kind of give me one or two great tips for first timers that they need to know before going on a cruise. Brenda?
Please don't forget to pack your travel documents. You must have those with you.
Yeah,
So many
definitely.
people forget that they get to port and they forgot something.
Yeah, definitely. Kim, something? One good tip?
Gosh, I think yeah, Brenda's right. You can replace a lot of things, but your travel documents, your passport, you cannot replace.
Let me get
So
off the ship.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, my my only other tip would be just either leveraging someone with experience like a travel advisor, but knowing the key dates, like when do the excursions bookings happen, and if you're needing to book restaurants or amenities like that, knowing when the dates are so you can get exactly what you want.
And that's great because that is another service that's part of, booking with us. We're going to remind you of those dates. Some things we'll have to remind you so that you can book. Some things we'll do it for you automatically. So those are some great things to do. I'm going to throw out my best tip. No matter what, if you do with a travel planner or travel navigator with Smooth Winds, or you do it on your own, please purchase travel insurance, travel protection. You know, that Caribbean, that coast, summertime, you're gonna have probably a hurricane or two. The crazy life of airlines right now, you never know. I just had a client coming home from Alaska, 4th of July weekend. We had some major storms here in Texas. They were delayed. We had to do hotel, all that great stuff. So knowing that you have that travel insurance to protect you, you never know. It's better to have it and never use it than to need it and don't have it. So,
One more quick tip.
yes,
Please fly in the day before your cruise. Do not fly in the day of your cruise.
that is a great one. Thanks so much to Brenda and Kimberly for joining me today as we kind of give you those great tips and tricks and things to know when planning your very first ocean cruise, river cruising, some of those great things to help you make that process a lot easier. And if you really want to make the process super easy, definitely reach out to one of our navigators here at Smooth Winds Travel. We, of course, have Brenda, we have Kim, we have some other great agents that can definitely help and share and make your next cruise smooth as a breeze.